They look at the Rolex and they're like, why am I listening to this rich guy? He probably had it
generational wealth. I'm going to expose you right now.
Please.
Did you come from money?
No, we didn't come from money. You know, I remember rolling change for rent. I was always interested in health and fitness and wellness because I started bodybuilding at age 13. I competed for the first time at 17. I need to take steroids. So my testosterone level comes back double what they consider normal limits. And I did this for over a decade. The industry that I am in, that medical clinic industry, is very shady.
Right.
There's a lot of nasty behavior in there, a lot of underground steroid sales from clinics that you'd think are normal clinics.
Interesting.
They sell steroids at the back door, illegal steroids.
Right.
It's crazy. I think men and women are different. What does being a man mean? People are pissed at some of the things I say. I don't know if they're pissed because they disagree or they're pissed because I just highlighted their life.
They're called out.
You wonder why guys' suicide rate is so high? Because men are castrated. They're too afraid to be men. And women smell that. Failure and hardship and strife, that's what builds a man. You need failure and you need hardship. You need to be around brothers who call you out and tell you suck.
That's the hard truth. Brother.
Sorry, men.
It's the hard truth.
I can't even call you men. Males. Sorry, males who are lacking in masculinity. Bring in shisha. We have to bring in a bottle of wine, maybe. I don't know.
A couple of cigars.
A couple of cigars.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I am honored to welcome Tomo Marjanovic, a former police officer turned visionary entrepreneur. After over a decade of service in law enforcement, where he earned the Medal of Valor, Tomo transitioned into the world of health and wellness. As the founder and CEO of Aspire Rejuvenation Clinic, he's built a multi-million-dollar enterprise specializing in hormone replacement therapy and regenerative medicine. Tomo has been recognized as a top 100 healthcare visionary, and he plans to establish a non-for-profit organization to provide a hormone therapy solution to military veterans and first responders, aiming to address mental health issues. How cool is that? And on top of that, Tomo is an advocate for truth. Welcome to the Mindset Status podcast, my friend. Good to have you.
Man, I can't believe we actually put this together.
Likewise.
I mean, I'm here in Dubai for a week. Last night, me and you get this together. I love it. I'm so happy to be here.
I am super grateful, man. Thank you for coming here on short notice. It's going to be a lot of fun, and something that really stood out to me when I first saw you on social media that made me realize, you know what, this is definitely one of those men that I want to follow, because there's a lot of stuff on social media. I was actually pretty surprised, because when I saw your reel, the first one was about a Rolex, I think.
Oh, yeah?
The funny thing is, I was actually in the market, and I'm still in the market for Rolex. And then I saw a video by you. I think it was a blessing in disguise. My wife would say otherwise, because you were actually justifying why people should buy a Rolex. And I saved that video and I sent it to my wife as well. I'm like, you know what? This is a good point.
Did she agree or disagree?
Absolutely not. No,
of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't understand. They didn't understand. Anyway, I liked your communication style, and I really resonated with it. So I checked out your profile, and then I noticed that you were talking about food, and you were talking about health, and you were talking about confidence and relationships. And I'm like, what the hell does this guy do? So that's when I started researching a little bit more, and I realized that you used to be a cop.
Yeah.
And now you run these clinics all over America, and you said you want to expand outside of America as well, potentially.
Yeah, one of the reasons we're here in UAE actually is having some meetings. I'm part of an organization that is very high network and net worth individuals, and we had a meeting here, and we're looking at expanding to the Dubai market. So UAE, Dubai specifically, expand to probably the rest of the UAE, GCC region, and then go from there. Sky's the limit, bro.
All the best, brother. I know you're going to do amazing with that based off the track record that you already have. But one question that came to mind, we were talking about this right before the podcast. I don't have any questions prepared, but something that I was just genuinely curious about, even in the car on the way here, was you have these successful clinics, and that's bringing in money.
Yeah.
But you also have a personal brand, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you don't need that personal brand to have a successful business in your industry, because you have the clinics. So why do you have the personal brand?
It's funny. A lot of people ask me that, like, what's the reason for the social media? And the way that I look at it is, I was the driver for the medical clinic. So people didn't come to Aspire Rejuvenation Clinic because of what we offered. They came because of me, originally.
With the first store.
With the first clinic. Yeah, with the first clinic, and it was because of my social media presence, what I talked about, what I was into. I'm an ex-bodybuilder, I'm an ex-fitness athlete, I'm an ex-fitness model, while I was a cop. So I was a police officer full-time while doing fitness modeling, while bodybuilding.
You're a jacked cop.
I was a very jacked cop. Yeah, you could probably cue a photo on the podcast, and you could show some pictures of it. But yeah, I was always interested in health and fitness and wellness because I started bodybuilding at age 13. I competed for the first time at 17, 18. And this is a hilarious story, but I told my bodybuilding coach, I had to be 18 years old, maybe 19. I said, I want to be Mr. Olympia. Every 18-year-old kid, even in the gym, wants to be Mr. Olympia, right? I said, I want to be Mr. Olympia. I know what that takes. I need to take steroids. That's what I told him. He laughed, and he said, you're not taking shit. You're young. He said, but I want you to get your labs tested. This was 2003, 2004. Nobody was doing this yet.
Do your what tested?
Doing like your blood test for your hormones.
Got it.
Testing your testosterone.
Like your testosterone and things like this.
Nobody was doing this in 2004. This was very unheard of.
Right.
So he tells me to go do this. My testosterone level comes back 1460 nanograms per deciliter, which is double what they consider normal limits.
Oh, wow.
He's like, you're like naturally on steroids anyway, kid. Keep doing it.
Right.
But in my head, I said, well, eventually it's going to go down, or eventually I'm going to make the decision. So until then, I'm going to study everything that I can about anabolic steroids, endocrine systems, hormones, anti-aging, all the peptide therapies. And I did this for over a decade. I became an autodidact in basically hormone therapy, wellness, anti-aging, endocrine systems, your thyroid functions, hypothalamus. I became an expert in this, and I basically was able to transition out of law enforcement in 2018, worked for a different medical clinic doing sales and marketing, built that clinic from 800 patients to almost 4,000 in 9 months.
Wow.
Just from social media. And then...
So you already had a large following at that point?
Not very large, but very loyal.
Right.
And in the bodybuilding industry, it was very easy to get that loyalty. I was well known.
Got it.
Had the rug pulled out from under me. That business relationship went awry because I became part owner of the company. Then I got some wild news, and I had to separate for legal reasons.
Okay.
The industry that I am in, that medical clinic industry, is very shady.
Right.
There's a lot of nasty behavior in there, a lot of underground steroid sales from clinics that you'd think are normal clinics.
Interesting.
They sell steroids at the back door, illegal steroids.
Right.
It's crazy. So you can imagine what I saw.
Got it.
And from all my friends in DEA, FBI, they're like, hey, bro, you got to go.
Got it.
I had to make a decision. I said, what am I going to do? Go back to police work, or am I going to put everything that I have into this thing that I now know I can do?
Make this work.
I knew very little of what to do at that point, but I knew a lot of what not to do. Figure it out. And I put myself in a tremendous amount of debt. I found a finance partner. I maxed all my credit cards out. I stopped paying my mortgage. I stopped paying my car payment. My credit score went down to almost 500. 800 is the max. And I just said, fuck it. And I just went all in. And
how old were you?
That was in 2019, so not long ago.
Not that long ago.
No, we're talking 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm 39 now, so 35, 34.
Wow.
I had no kid at that time. I had, no wife, nothing, to support, nothing to worry about, nothing to stress about, which is the biggest thing that men, when they say, oh, well, I can't do that. That's the main reason, which I understand.
Yeah.
If you have a family and children that you have to feed and house, and I get it. But if it's just me, bro, I can figure it out. I could fall flat on my face and be broke. We'll figure it out.
I feel like that's the attitude you need, though, to build a very successful business.
Yeah.
To build anything meaningful, you have to have that attitude that it's either going to work or I'm going to die trying.
Bro, I say that all the time.
Yeah.
When people say, like, what made you just go as hard as you did? They're like, how'd you stay so strong during it? I'm like, I don't know that I stayed strong. Bro, I used to walk out of that clinic every night. Last person out the door, I'd get in my car, I'd bawl my eyes out. I don't care. I'm not afraid to say I cried. I was so stressed. I was not paying my own bills, couldn't afford to buy groceries, had to pay my staff, had to pay the rent in the medical clinic, had to pay for the electricity there, had to pay for all this stuff. And I'm not paying any of my own bills. And when I had $30 in my account, funny story, you asked me off camera before we started, did I grow up with money?
Yeah. Did you come from money?
No, we didn't come from money. You know, I remember rolling change for rent, for $300 rent when I was a kid. Rolling change, pennies and nickels and dimes to bring to the bank so we can pay rent. People don't realize that. Because people now, they look at, you know.
They look at the Rolex.
They look at the Rolex, the story that you were telling me, right?
Yeah.
They look at the Rolex and they're like, oh, well, he, you know, why am I listening to this rich guy? He probably had it
generational wealth. Yeah. Greedy,
probably,
evil.
You know, people that say money is evil, I laugh every time.
It's ridiculous.
Money's not evil. People are evil. People have the capacity for evil. If you're a shitty person, money will amplify it.
Exactly.
If you're a great person, money will amplify it.
That's exactly what I say. If you're cheap and greedy when you're poor, you're going to be even more cheap and more greedy when you have money.
And you see it.
You do.
Yeah.
However, something interesting I've noticed about the new rich, especially with, you know, within the last 20 years with social media, you have a lot of people who are self-made, people who didn't come from money.
Sure.
Such as yourself, such as myself as well. And a lot of people that you meet in Dubai, for example, you see even young entrepreneurs. Like I've met literally 20-year-olds making 100K per month, even more. It's ridiculous. Like 21-year-olds.
Unheard of when we grew up.
Sorry?
Are you around my age?
I'm 30.
You're 30. Also, I'm a little bit older than you.
Yeah.
Unheard of when I was growing up.
Yeah.
There was nobody making $100,000 a month.
Yeah, I mean, exactly nobody. Even 10 years ago, I remember that
didn't exist.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It didn't exist. That's right. And what I've noticed though is a lot of the new rich, obviously not all of them, you have exceptions, but many are actually very collaborative and very open to learning and open to helping one another as well.
Yes.
They're not in a scarcity mindset because the abundance mentality that's been perpetuated with personal development, which is a good thing, has actually positively impacted a lot of young people to the point where now, for example, I'm a communication coach. People hire me so I can teach them high-level communication. But I also hire coaches to teach me about business, to teach me about mindset and different things.
Sure.
Some of my coaches are younger than me, the ones that coach me. And I have no problem with that. And they're making more money than me as well.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to put your ego to the side and actually be open-minded to learning from people. But next question that I have for you is, as I said, something that really stood out to me with your Instagram, Tomo, was your charisma, your communication style. I just sense the passion from you. It energizes me every time I watch your reels. Like I end up laughing. And I was curious, why is it that you talk about things like confidence and discipline and success on your Instagram, even though it doesn't relate to your clinics?
You know, I think a lot of the things that I say in my social media, and I say this a lot, and you can see this on my, it's not Twitter anymore. What the hell is it called? X. You can see it on my X. I'll post random things on X, and I'll make reels about certain things that are mindset related or not motivation, more discipline related and confidence related. And, you know, why do I talk about the things that I talk about if they don't directly drive to business? Well, half the things that I say are almost things that I need to hear. And it's almost like therapy for me. And I'm like, okay, I need to hear this. I'm saying it out loud, so I'm declaring it, which is what? I'm declaring it, I'm making it real.
Making it real.
Making it real. I'm making a point to now publicly talk about this. And maybe people don't realize that I'm talking about myself a lot of times. Yeah.
Bro, that is.
So
that
maybe
hits.
maybe people don't realize that. Yeah. So people maybe don't realize that I'm talking about myself a lot of these times. And it's like, well, why am I talking about confidence and discipline? Because I have lacked confidence and discipline. Why do I talk about relationships? Because I screwed them up. Why do I talk about health? Because I have had times where I have not put my health as a priority and everything else suffered in alignment.
Got it.
So what does all this have to do with the businesses that I'm involved in? You know, with Aspire Rejuvenation Clinic, with Goliath Ventures. I'm an executive partner in a fintech company that deals in, it's like a private fund, deals in like cryptocurrency liquidity pools, and that's the moneymaker, bro. That's the... Anything cryptocurrency is wild right now.
Of course, yeah.
So, you know, why am I talking about these things? They don't directly relate to that. Because I feel like making an impact in that way, and I don't monetize my social media. I don't know if you didn't. I don't know if you knew that. Nobody even realizes. They're like, oh, you're doing this shit for money. You're talking about this food. You probably owns a food company. Probably owns a supplement company. Probably owns this. I closed my supplement company. I got rid of it. I am not here to make money from social media. If it eventually goes into something where I get to have some money coming in, I'm not going to take it personally. I don't need money.
Why though? What's stopping you from monetizing your Instagram?
I don't need to, and I don't want to have to take money from someone else to support it. So everything, my staff, my PR team, my editors, my videographers, everything is paid for out of my pocket. It does not. I have no. And I mean, if you look at the Instagram, even some of the reels that went 18 million.
Yeah, I saw that.
18 million views, 10 million views on multiple videos, multi-million views. You're like, oh, you got to be making a killing. You're just making clickbait videos. Bro, I make $3 off that video.
Yeah.
$3.
Guys, if you haven't seen Tomo's Instagram, I would highly suggest you go check it out. It's just fuel. It's so much motivation. And sometimes it makes me laugh because you're so real. I was actually going through, I'm going to expose you right now.
Please.
I went through, but I love this because it made me realize that you're a fan of Joe Dispenza. You were arguing with somebody in the comments.
Yeah. I do that sometimes. I don't.
It's a mistake I make as well, brother.
I don't suggest everybody does this on our social media.
It doesn't go anywhere. It never goes anywhere.
Never.
But it was good because it brought up this topic that we're going to talk about now. I was talking about this with my wife the other day. I said, babe, isn't it crazy that placebos are a thing? And she said, what do you mean? And I said, well, if you tell somebody who has a headache that this pill is going to cure your headache within 20 minutes, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And you give them the pill and there's nothing in the pill. It's literally chalk.
Yeah.
And they have it and then they're cured. How can you not see that as anything other than a miracle? It is wild what our brains can do.
And you know, you talk about it as a miracle. Is it a miracle? Or is it just normal? And we think of it as a miracle. Is it just normal that, oh man, our body cured ourselves with this placebo, with a sugar pill, with a salt pill, with a nothing pill, with air? We thought we were taking something that cured the cancer and the cancer got cured. Okay, that's a miracle. No, it's not. Your body is remarkable. Your body is a remarkable healing machine. Think of how much you went through in your younger years. I mean, you're 31, you said?
30.
You're 30. So you're hitting the age. I hate to call you out on it, but you're hitting the age where things are going to start kind of
slowing down.
It's going to start slowing down. Your testosterone levels are going to drop. Your growth hormone levels are already starting to plummet pretty well. You're not going to heal, recover, and feel and behave and act as young as you did. Your body is it's a bell curve. You are growing, and then you start dying. What happens at the top of that bell curve? You're hitting your plateau of your hormone production. Your pituitary, your hypothalamus, your testosterone production. For women, what's the midlife crisis that women go through? Menopause. For men, called male menopause, called andropause. Andropause is now considered. No, it's new. It's a newer term. Maybe coined 10, 15 years ago. So you have menopause and andropause. What happens? They used to call it men's midlife crisis. When men divorce their wife, they go buy a Corvette, they get a hot new blonde girlfriend, right? What are they chasing? That energy, that feeling, that vigor, that manliness,
that
right?
rush, yeah.
That rush. What happened? Their testosterone level just dropped. They're probably cut in half. They're probably half the man they were from a testosterone production.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like when you look at what is going on in our bodies, we're remarkable healing machines. I remember going skiing. I was 19 years old, and I'm dumb. 19 years old in college, bro. You're an idiot. No offense to anybody that's 19 years old out there, but you're an idiot. So we go in, we're like, yeah, we're going to ski this Black Diamond. I've never skied in my life.
Okay.
I went down one bunny hill. I'm like, yeah, I got it. We're going to go on a Black Diamond now. This is the stupidest thing you could do. I basically fell down the entire mountain. I stood up and I'm like, all right, I feel pretty good. I'm all right. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, wild, crazy. I do that now. Bro, I'm going to the hospital. I'll see you in 6 months. Everything's broken now. You know what I mean? What's the difference? Hormone production. Your body is healing itself. It's stronger. It's more capable. Bro, that's what my clinics do. My clinics literally are turning the clock back biologically and physiologically, looking at your hormone profile, looking at what everything's going. And if I just ramp up with a bioidentical hormone that your body can't tell the difference from the normal production, testosterone levels, growth hormone levels, sometimes thyroid. For women, estradiol, progesterone, right? You dial those things back up, your body can't tell the difference from when you were 25 years old to when you're 55 years old.
What would you say to somebody who tries to argue with you and call that pseudoscience?
Yes.
And actually, to answer that question, I want you to reference something that you mentioned in a reel, which was actually the ads from, I think it was the 40s or 50s of doctors promoting cigarettes.
So the pseudoscience thing, that's an easy one. We can prove it in blood work. We can prove it with reviews, actual patient reviews, and what has happened with patients.
Before and afters.
Before and afters. You have a man who comes in and he's 55 years old. This has happened. I don't know if he's actually 55. He might have been actually older. But you have, let's say, 55-year-old male. Low testosterone, thyroid's underfunctioning. He feels like shit. He's old. He feels old. He comes in, he's on blood pressure medication. Why? Why does everybody that gets over a certain age get blood pressure medication? Why do they also get cholesterol issues? Why do they also get erectile dysfunction? Why do they also start to have measures of depression and anxiety? These are all real things that happen as you age. Why are all these age-related regressive states happening after a certain age for men and women? Hormones. So we get that guy. He comes in with a laundry bag full of medicine. 6 months later, all we did was optimize his testosterone, maybe his thyroid. Maybe we gave him a little bit of growth hormone for some recovery, or a peptide to increase growth hormone, even easier and cheaper. This guy is off all medications.
All of them.
All of them. He's no longer depressed. He's no longer anxious. He's no longer needing cholesterol medications. He no longer has high blood pressure. Diabetes. People that are going into diabetic states as they get older, right? Gaining body fat, your blood sugar is not able to be regulated, you get diabetes. You can reverse diabetes with proper hormone therapy and dietary restrictions. It's ridiculous. Why does Big Pharma not want you to do that? Because what did I just do? I just took that laundry bag full of medication, and I just took that money out of their pockets.
That's right.
They hate this shit. They don't like this. They don't want you to be healthy. Medicine, big medicine, doctors, all this stuff. They don't want you to be healthy. They want you to be a what? Moneymaker.
Man, let me tell you something that many people are gonna have trouble believing as well, but I know you're gonna get this immediately. So I suffered with severe psoriasis, which is like, it's a skin condition for those who don't know, similar to eczema. And when I say severe, I mean severe. I was hospitalized for it multiple times. Yeah, just all over my body, oozing. It was horrible.
Oh man.
This was in my late teens and early 20s.
Okay.
I went to so many dermatologists across Australia, so many doctors, and they prescribed me with all kinds of steroids, topical steroids, that is, on my skin, so in cream form, but also orally.
Yeah. Anti-inflammatory steroids.
Yeah. And it got to the point I was taking so much where one of the side effects of those steroids, apart from keeping you up at night, is it makes you gain weight, and also it actually thins your skin. It reduces your immune system. So I would get cut so easily. If I knock my hand on a table just like this, I would cut it.
Isn't that a wild thing? Because it messes with your immune system, right?
Yep.
Side effect. Yet you are battling an autoimmune issue.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense.
But let me tell you, Tomo, it didn't do anything for me. Like, it would temporarily help me, but then I would have to get off the meds because of the side effects. But then I started meditating consistently. And doing bioenergetics. Are you familiar with bioenergetics?
Explain it to me, I may be.
Basically using your physiology, using your body to open up your nervous system and open up your lungs so you can have a fuller breath.
Okay.
And just open up the muscles. I don't really know all the technical terms, to be completely honest with you, but you're just opening your body, you're loosening it up, you're loosening your body to the point where you feel different psychologically. Because physiologically, if you're changing your state, psychologically it's gonna be reflected, right? So I started using,
and vice versa.
And vice versa, exactly. And that's what I tell my clients as well. If you just start Even if you don't feel confident, if you hold yourself with confidence, with your body language, you will feel confident. Your mind will follow your body and vice versa. So I started doing bioenergetics. I started dancing as well, actually. I'm not a big dancer, but I just started stomping around in my bedroom, man. And I was depressed, by the way, and meditating consistently. I swear to God, within a couple of months, my psoriasis disappeared.
What did the doctors say about that?
I didn't go back to them. I literally didn't go back to them. And they told me there was no cure.
Of course.
They told me there was no cure.
They don't want you to have a cure.
No.
Treatment. The medical industry. And I don't call out doctors. I try not to. My clinics employ doctors. We employ practitioners. We employ people that have been trained in traditional medicine, right? I love doctors. And doctors are there for a very specific reason. Medicine is there for a specific reason. Modern medicine is there for a specific reason. But they are taught to give Band-Aid solutions to most issues, which are medications to mask a side effect and not looking at an underlying issue. Was your underlying issue, we're not gonna go into psychoanalyzing you on your podcast.
It was mental.
Of course. But, was that a repressed issue from when you were younger? Maybe. Did you have severe stress and anxiety, and was that elevation of cortisol, and was that maintenance of your stress and the way that your body was reacting to all of the stress and anxiety that you were putting on yourself up here? Was that your body's way of saying, hey, pay attention to me?
Yeah.
And then it finally went to, oh, I need to calm myself. I need to meditate. I need to allow my body to function properly. I need to breathe. I need to open. We're getting in the woo-woo a little bit, but I need to align my chakras. You know what I mean? Like, if you believe in that shit, I don't care if you do or don't. Your body is a remarkable healing machine. And one of my favorite things I've ever heard was everything that your body does is a signal to change something in your environment. If you have severe acne, that could be due to something you're eating. That could be due to stress. That could be due to anxiety. That could be due to a hormone issue. Your body's telling you something's wrong. It's a reflection. Everything your body does. My shoulder hurts. Why? It could have been an injury.
Sorry to interrupt, but I want to ask you a question that I know is going to benefit a lot of our listeners.
Let me hear it.
Let's say somebody has these symptoms. They are having trouble sleeping, focusing, and they have brain fog, which is very, very common. What would you say? What advice would you have for these people?
So it would depend on age.
Okay, let's say between 30 and 40.
Between 30 and 40. So again, because of what I do for a living, because of what I know about my type of medicine, which is hormones, wellness, anti-aging, really holistic medicine from a hormone perspective, go get a blood test done.
Get a blood test done.
That's it. Get a blood test done and check everything in your hormone levels. Not just testosterone, your estradiol, for women, progesterone as well. Check your thyroid levels and look at your full, complete blood count, your CBC, your CMP, your metabolic panel. See what your liver's doing, see what your prostate's doing. That way, the blood work is a window into your body. True. That's one piece of data that everybody should be getting every single year after the age of 20.
Okay. Interesting.
That way, and the reason why I say that, and you don't have to come to me. I don't care. I don't need your money. I don't need your blood work money. I don't care. We make no money on our labs. Okay? So go and get your labs done from 20 years old on. Why do you want to get it so early at 20? You shouldn't have any problems, right? You have a baseline. Now you have a baseline. Remember when you were 20? Oh, yeah, I felt amazing. I was lean. I was mean. I had a high sex drive. I felt great. My skin looked great. My hair was good. I could conquer the world. Okay, well, here was your blood work at 20. Here you are at 35. Look at what happened. Now, okay, let's go further into this. What else should you be looking at? Your stress levels. Okay, your mindset. People work themselves up into frenzies. You coach people on communication, right? How stressed are people and how anxious are people about communication?
How stressed are they?
Yeah.
Very.
Very. Why? Because of
overthinking.
It's the voice in their head that they think is uncontrollable. I love this. I love when people tell me, "Oh yeah, well I think this. My brain is telling me this. I'm visualizing this. I'm nervous about." You control that shit. That's you. That's you. Your head. Conscience, different thing. I see your conscience, the thing that tells you what's
Yeah.
right and wrong.
Yeah.
I consider that God.
Yeah.
I consider my conscience the voice of God.
Right.
It's a very different
You're a
perspective.
Christian, right? You'd call it the Holy Spirit.
I am a Christian. I grew up Christian. I don't really adhere to any religion at this point.
Okay, fair enough.
I believe in God.
That guiding spirit.
I believe in God. I believe, and this is controversial depending on where you are, where you come from, what you believe in. I think that every single religion on this planet is worshiping the same God in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have a similar argument in
Yeah.
Islam, actually.
Yeah, and I love Islam.
Yeah.
You
You look like a Muslim right now.
I know.
Except for the gold.
I know, except for the gold. Yeah. So I just learned this today.
Right. Okay.
So I didn't know that gold was not something that you could wear.
It's forbidden for men.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, women can wear it.
And they were saying because it can raise like feminine hormones in your body,
I don't know about the hormones. I'm not an
or
Islamic.
feminine energy, or something like that.
Again, I could be very, very wrong. I want to pre-frame by saying that
Yeah,
I'm not
I
an
don't know
Islamic
either.
scholar at all. In fact, I revoted a year ago.
Okay.
However, from what I understand, it's because it's a sign of vanity, which is feminine.
I understand.
But you look great.
I mean, I even wore the matching green watch with my.
I like it. No, it's a beautiful Rolex. I
Yeah.
love the
So
green dot.
again, I love all religion. You know what I mean? And I believe that most religions, if not all religions, are worshiping the same God. And actually, if you go into the Abrahamic religions,
So you believe there's one God?
I believe there's one God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I believe there is one God, and Christian or Muslim, it's the same God.
Alhamdulillah. That's what we say.
That's it.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people like confuse all the religion stuff, and they get very. And I understand it's a touchy subject for some people. I get it.
It's a
But-
fun subject.
As somebody who grew up not just Christian but Roman Catholic, I'm 100% Croatian. So I grew up Roman.
Yeah, that's
I grew
heavy
up,
duty.
That's heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I grew up Roman Catholic. When I went to Catholic school, this is a wild story. When I went to Catholic school, Catholic high school, I think I was in freshman. Lake Catholic High School is the name of the school in Ohio, outside of Cleveland. Okay. We used to walk in, and the teacher, who was not a priest or anything, we'd walk in and he would say, "Assalamu alaikum." And we would have to say, "Alaikum assalam." I was like, interesting.
Interesting.
We did not read the Bible first in that class. We read the Quran.
Really?
Yeah. So we read the Quran, then we read the Bible, and then we read I don't remember what the Judaism book is.
Torah.
That's what it is, yeah. So we read all three.
It's a good school.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool. You don't
You know what I
hear
mean?
of that. Yeah.
No. And the reason why he wanted us to read, he didn't want us to read the Bible first, is because we've already been brought up in that. Northeast Ohio is a very Catholic and Christian place.
Yeah.
Like, we're not starting there. We're going to start with Islam.
Interesting.
And he wanted us to see not the irregularities of the religions, but the
The
regularities.
similarities.
And where are they all aligning? Are they all aligning to the same God? Are they worshiping in different? People forget that, Muslims also appreciate and love and have respect for Jesus as a prophet.
That's right. Yeah.
People don't even know that. The amount
Yeah.
of Christians that I talk to that have no clue that even exists. I'm
Yeah.
like, guys, you don't even know your own history.
You know, there's a mosque in Melbourne, Australia called the Virgin Mary Mosque.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no.
I
mean,
found that out today.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, the gold thing, I had no idea. I found out today, and I was going to hand somebody my watch to try on. I was wearing a different watch. I was wearing an AP earlier, and it was rose gold. And I was like, "You can try it on if you want." And he's like, "Is that gold?" I said, "No." He's like, "I was like, yeah." And he's like, "Oh no, I can't wear that."
Yeah.
And then I started hearing the information. I'm like, I didn't think I was feminine, bro, but now I feel bad. I thought I was a pretty masculine guy. You have me think I have to switch everything to platinum now. Can I wear platinum or no?
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. I do really appreciate the discipline of Islam, the discipline that it's brought me, though. It's definitely a very masculine religion.
Yes.
Even when you look at the Muslim male archetype,
Yeah.
it's a warrior archetype.
Of course.
That's why you have the likes of Khabib, Muhammad Ali, Mike
Yeah.
Tyson, because these guys embody it. They're so indifferent
Of course.
to the worldly gain that they're
Yeah.
going to get, and it's just pure glory for God.
Well, you know what's crazy is the other religions used to be like that too. They aren't anymore. Why?
What do you feel like changed?
Society. And they have adhered to it. Look at the Roman Catholic Church. Look at Rome. Look at the Vatican. They started what? Accepting things that aren't even allowed in the Bible. Oh no, that's okay. Oh, that's okay. This is all right.
Yeah, very lenient.
So when they start getting more and more lenient, when they start allowing, when you start allowing people to cross your boundaries, I'm big on boundaries.
Yep.
I'm big on establishing red lines. I'm big on establishing no-go situations. I'm huge on it. Not just for myself, but for relationships, for business, for other men. You don't want to see me.
What are some common red lines, or let's say red flags, in other men that you see in the modern day?
Respect.
Lack of respect.
Lack of respect. Or just disrespect.
Right.
You don't like you won't like me if you see a man disrespect me. I'll get a little bit scary. Because it is I'm so put off by you. If you disrespect me, especially publicly.
Yeah.
In private, I'll correct you. But I'll correct you once. The second time isn't going to happen because I'm already separating from you.
Yeah, that's
if you
right.
feel comfortable to disrespect me, now, me and you off camera, we can probably screw with each other. You know what I mean? But we have a respect. Yeah. And I know you're not meaning it in a disrespectful way. But there's things that you say around your friends, right?
Yep.
You know, where nobody would say that in that friend group in front of strangers or in front of other people or in public. You know what I mean? Where you kind of like mess with each other. You say some names, you say some funny things, right?
You take the piss. Yeah.
Yeah, you take a piss. Yeah. So, respect is a huge thing for me. And you know what a big pet peeve of mine is?
Tell me.
When people don't stand up and shake my hand.
You know what? Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I tell my clients to do that. I teach them. I say, when you shake a man's hand, you should stand up. Anybody's hand. You should stand up. It's a sign of respect.
I will never. I'll be in the middle of taking a bite. I don't care if it's the waiter. I don't care if it's the janitor. I will stand up and shake your hand and give you that respect as a man or a woman. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I can shake your hand lightly if I know you well enough. I can, the European kiss on the cheek thing, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation is. But as a man, if I walk up to you and you're seated, you better stand up and shake my hand. Yeah. Otherwise, I feel disrespected. Because I feel like you're not addressing me properly.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe they don't respect me, and that's okay. But that also means it's not somebody that's going to be close to me.
That's right. So you don't feel disrespected in the sense that you're butthurt about it.
No.
But you probably lose a bit of respect for them in that moment, right?
And I try not to. I do feel that way, but I try not to and I feel like this is what's so important about, what I talk about on social media, on podcasts, what we're talking about here. Respect.
Yeah.
How to be a man.
Yeah.
How to be a man. What does being a man mean? People don't even talk about this shit. And men have been so castrated by Western culture. We just talked about religion. Christianity has been castrated by Western culture. Why? Why hasn't Islam? Because they haven't allowed it.
Boundaries.
If they would have allowed it, it would have been the same thing. But Christianity used to be very much about a masculine man and very much about a feminine woman. What changed? They allowed society to tiptoe across that line. And once you allow that line to be crossed, just like in a relationship with a woman, if you allow that line to be crossed, guess what's going to happen? They're going to start walking a little bit further past that line. Your line starts here. They tow it. You allow it. Free game. Because why? They know that you're not serious. So one of my lessons I learned not too late in the game. I mean, I would say late 20s, maybe early 30s, where I would allow certain things to happen. I'd allow women that I dated in the past to step across certain lines, and I didn't correct them. Now, I'll walk right out.
Yeah.
I'll walk. I'm done. If this is how you're going to behave, you get corrected. But it's like, you have to have some grace, because if you have a younger woman, or something like that, you have to teach them.
Yeah.
And maybe they have been brought up in a westernized culture where they don't know.
It's true.
They don't know that this is not how you should behave.
Yeah.
But this is why I talk about all this stuff, because people don't talk about it anymore. They don't think about it.
That's right.
And it's pure honesty.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a piss.
That's what people want to hear as well.
I'm not BSing people.
Yeah.
And yes, it makes people mad. You go look at my comments.
Yeah.
People are pissed at some of the things I say. But I don't know if they're pissed because they disagree, or they're pissed because they just highlighted their life.
They're called out.
They're called out. I just called them out. Now they're looking at their wife and they're like, oh shit. They're looking at their kids. Oh shit. They're looking at their best friends. Oh shit. I'm not respected anywhere. I'm not only not respected in my friend group. I'm not respected in the restaurant that I eat at. I'm not respected at home.
By my wife.
I'm not respected in the bedroom. Where am I respected? You wonder why guys are depressed. You wonder why guys' suicide rate is so high. Men's suicide rate, not just in the West, but worldwide, is at its highest it's ever been. Why? Because men are castrated. They're too afraid to be men. It's crazy, man.
It's wild.
It all starts up here, though. It all starts up here in what we believe about ourselves, what our mindset is, and just like you teach communication, right? I like to focus on the mind. I think that a man being able to communicate what he feels and what he thinks, what he desires and what he dislikes, that is extremely important. And men sometimes don't clearly do that. That's where you come in. You know what I mean? Seriously.
Absolutely.
It's so important, because a man who can't communicate can't be confident.
That's right.
They can't be assertive. They can't be a leader.
Yeah. It's extremely attractive when a man knows what he wants. Literally, even before we started the podcast, the guy behind the camera, he was setting things up. We were ordering coffee, this and that, and he had some things placed, and I'm like, nah, I don't like that. Can you bring this cup? We don't want to have it in a bottle, this and that. The past me, even 10 years ago,
Sure.
I would have been too shy to ask the cameraman to change these things for me.
Really?
Literally, I would have been way too shy. Whereas now, even my wife knows and my friends know I'm very picky. When I go to a restaurant, I know where I want to sit. I'll argue with the waiter. Not in a rude way, not in a disrespectful
Sure.
way at all. Politely, in fact, playfully.
Yeah.
But I ask for what I want.
Yeah.
And most men don't. They don't ask for what they want.
Why do you think that is?
Because they're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of rejection, and they're afraid of judgment as well. Which is why when you meet men who are successful, who are high status, who are doing something productive with their lives, adding value to their families, to society, the reason why they're successful, I believe, is because they have the courage to go after what they want.
Yes.
And fail over and over and over again. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, very successful entrepreneur. His name is Charlie Johnson. You may have heard of him. He's a business coach and fitness coach. He told me his story about how often he failed, and it just blows you away.
Yeah.
This guy's more successful than 99.5% of people you'll meet, yet he's failed more than anybody I've ever met.
Of course. That's what builds a man. I think failure and hardship and strife and negativity, and I love it. I love it.
It's part of the game.
It's part of what makes you a man, my opinion. This is my opinion. I think men and women are different. I know it's crazy to say that in 2024, almost 2025. It's crazy to say that. Not here, not in Dubai, but in the West.
Yeah.
You say that in England. You say it in Australia. You say it in the US.
Yeah.
It's very.
You can't even hint at that.
You can't even hint at it.
Yeah.
But I think that men are forged in fire. Yeah. Men are forged in the pressure cooker of life, and you need failure and you need hardship. You need to be around brothers who call you out and tell you you suck. I want to be told I suck.
Yep.
I want to be told, you get a little fat around the midsection, Tomo. You better get the cardio back up in the gym. Bro, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love to be told, hey, you said a few too many times in that podcast. I'm like, oh shit, I'm slipping.
Nice.
I wanna know that I have room to improve, and I love criticism. Now, take the other side of it, women. I don't think women do well. Hardship and hardness and failure and strife and negativity, that beats a woman down. And you will then have a less feminine woman and a more masculinized woman. That's what's happened in the West.
Yep.
And that is the opposite of what women... I think women are supposed to be delicate and protected. And they're supposed to not have to struggle through life.
Yep.
But you can't put a man like that.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a man who's done that, what do you have? You have an incapable man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
You have an
sounds-
unreliable man.
You have an unreliable man, and women smell that.
Yeah.
Women can see when you walk into a room. What do they want to, I mean, this is crazy when you even think about it from a relationship standpoint, but like women, when a man walks in that they know is capable and strong and can probably fight anybody in the room and would be able to take care of her and looks like he has enough money to buy her a house, feed her children, right?
Yep.
All the things.
Provide,
protect. Simple shit. When a woman sees that man, they will think lesser of the man next to them if they don't have those capabilities.
That's the hard truth, brother.
Sorry, men.
It's the hard truth.
I can't even call you men. Males. Sorry, males who are lacking in masculinity. It sucks, bro. But listen, I'm not saying this to call anybody out. I'm saying this because I have lacked the qualities. I grew up with no father, bro. Like my mom and dad got divorced when I was like 7 or 8. My stepfather, who I would have loved to have grown up with me, committed suicide when I was like 14.
Oh, wow.
Killed himself. My father figures have been very drastically ripped out of my life. That could have messed me up. It didn't. I gravitated towards other father figures. You know, it sounds cheesy, but like during the time that I grew up, I'm looking up to Arnold Schwarzenegger, bro. I'm looking up to Sylvester Stallone. You know, I'm almost 40. So these guys were the hot Hollywood actors back then. So I'm looking up to the most masculinized figures of the age. And then when I became a police officer at 21, 22 years old, now I'm seeing real men doing the job that real men do. We got guns, we got badges, we're right? We have all these things in line because we're men. That's who taught me to be a man. Now, if I would have just allowed myself to grow up around all women, which I think gives me an interesting perspective. Because I know the female perspective. I feel like I can communicate very well with women. I feel like I can relate to what women think.
Yeah.
But I've also learned how to be very masculine.
Yeah.
So I think I have a unique perspective in this.
I was going to say that it really sounds like you've cultivated your masculinity from the ashes, brother.
That's it.
And you know what? I think we're going to need a part 2 for this podcast because they're
telling you.
waving at me behind the camera.
He's not allowed to leave, bro.
We're going to have to.
He's going to be here all night. We're going to have to bring in shisha. We have to bring in a bottle of wine, maybe. I don't know.
A couple of cigars.
A couple of cigars.
Tomo, thank you so much for today, brother. This has been an absolute pleasure. Plenty of gems you've dropped.
I really hope that, you know, whatever we got to divulge here together, you know, I hope that men, I hope women, I hope people of all religions, I hope people can see how quickly you can evolve and how quickly you can adapt and how much failure leads to success and leads to positivity. You know what I mean? Right. All of this negativity is all for a real purpose and you can use it.
That's right. Absolutely. Wow, what a conversation. Guys, give Tomo a shout. Reach out to him on Instagram, annoy him in the DMs. Say you came from this podcast and give him a follow and support his work. He's expanding all over the world. Once again, congratulations on the business success. And thank you so much for the conversation today,
Thank
brother.
you so much.
It's been fantastic. Until next time.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.